with Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhaus on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Good morning and welcome to Investor Schooling Live, coming to you from Investor Schooling headquarters. I'm Phil Falcone here with my business partner, Larry Steinhaus. We are the founders of Investor Schooling. Get ready to learn real estate investing and stock option trading. Call us anytime during the show with your questions at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. That's right, we're a live program, so you can call us anytime during our show, and we will take your calls. Don't even worry about what we're talking about. If you got a question, just give us a call, 855-939-1137. Investor Schooling is located in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, serving the Philadelphia area in a real brick-and-mortar building. We are local guys, accessible to our students a minimum of 2 nights per week. If you want to learn this business, that's the business of real estate investing and stock option trading, you want to learn it from people who live it every day. And guess what? That's us. InvestorSchooling.com. So we're going to be talking about real estate topics today. We're going to be talking about stock options. We're going to be talking about the stock market, the war, seller financing, what's going on with mortgage guys. We're going to be talking about a bunch of categories. So hang out and feel free to call us at any time if you got a question. So what's happening, Larry?
Not much, Mr. Phil. I see that you're feeling much better today, and I'm very happy to see that.
Yeah, I'm almost through the Legion of Pain.
The Legion of Pain?
Yeah.
Is that like a new TV series called The Legion of Pain?
Well, I originally got operated on February 2nd, and I will tell you that on March 5th, I am still in pain.
You're still in pain, yeah. That's
still
rough.
in pain,
Man,
yeah.
that's rough.
Yeah, pretty much like 24/7, doesn't end.
So we have a couple of people, guys, online. By the way, hey, Ed, I don't know who the Facebook user is. Go to Investor Schooling Live or the Money Chat Now page, and you'll be able to, so we know who you are. And don't forget, listen, you guys call in. If you guys want to call in, you can call in at 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. And today we have a new producer. We have Mike doing this for the first time with no training. So, if things cut out a little bit online, don't blame him. Just, actually don't blame him. Put a post up there, go, hey, Mike, you screwed up again.
All right, so we are on the air these days.
Once again.
Saturdays.
At Saturday at 10 o'clock.
At 10 a.m. until the end of April.
Yeah, until the end of April, or is it until the end of March? I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll eventually get an email that says we're supposed to be in a different way. Oh, he's got that. He's putting that view of us where where I look fat, and the good thing I'm wearing my hat because my head is bald view. I'm just looking online and I'm seeing that that's the view that we've got.
Well, your head is bald, so you might as well embrace it. I told you should shave your head.
I actually, it might not be a bad idea, but
I think you would look pretty cool.
You think so?
I think you would, yeah.
All right. So all those out there, everybody out there who wants me to shave my head, just put a comment on Facebook that says shave it or don't shave it.
And we could do it right in the studio.
That would be cool. We could do it online.
We could shave your head in the studio.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting. The only problem is then I got all my pictures. I got to take all new pictures.
Oh, that's terrible.
I hate taking pictures.
Well, I don't blame you.
It's that stock option consultant guy who likes taking pictures. So if you've ever been to the classes, you know that the stock option consultant takes a picture with everyone who shows up. So if you want to go to Investor Schooling this Thursday night, you can take a picture with the stock option consultant. Go to investorschooling.com and you can sign up for that. What else are they going to do at Investor Schooling, Phil? While we're making a commercial anyway.
Yeah, we're going to talk about real estate investing. What's the best way to do it? There's so many ways to do it. I absolutely love real estate. I thank the Lord that I got into the real estate investing business as a young man at the age of 23, and I am now 56 years old. I still do not do anything different from what I did when I was 23 years old.
So, well, you do a lot of things different than you did when 23. You've learned how to buy houses with no money. You've learned how to lend money. You've learned all kinds of different things since you were 23.
Well, I understand that, but I'm making the point that at 23 I decided to do this, and I still am doing really nothing but the same thing.
So Joe says, I see him online. He goes, "Shave the dome. You would be the Vin Diesel of real estate."
I think you would look a lot better that way.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to think about this one because, it takes way too many months for my hair to grow back if I don't like it.
Well, so what? You wear a hat. What's the big deal?
And I finally got this, this covering the ball from the front to the back thing finally working for me.
Well,
So I'd have to do all that again.
all you have to do is wear your stock option Sultan hat.
Yeah.
No one's gonna see nothing.
You guys got to see that. Hey, all right. So I have a question for everybody online. So if you guys saw it online, I put a question up. I put a question up on my Facebook post, and if you guys are listening, I want you guys to call in. So real quick, here's the phone number to call in again, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. So here's the question. If I borrow money at 5% interest and I lend it to you at 4% interest, do I make money or do I lose money? So if I borrow money at 5% and I lend it to you at 4%, do I make money or do I lose money? If you guys want to call in, 855-939-1137 and tell me what you think of the answer, or you want to post it online, that's okay too. But I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. What do you think of that question, Phil?
I think I have an answer.
Yeah?
I would say it depends. So if the money that I was borrowing at 5% and lending it to somebody else at 4%, is that correct? Because you took the question down.
Right.
So.
So I can put the question back up the way it's written. Here you go.
Right.
If I borrow money at 5% and lend it to you at 4%, do I make money or do I lose money? Do I make money or do I lose money?
Well, I think you probably would still be making money if you did it in like a Roth IRA, for example.
Okay, why?
Because you're not paying any taxes on the money and you're still making money.
All right, so let's pretend that there's no tax situation because you're going into a different place.
Mm-hmm.
I intentionally worded this to make it confusing. So for you guys who don't know why Phil can't figure it out and why you're struggling with it, I intentionally worded it the way I did to make it confusing. But before I answer this question, I want people to call in or even leave posts.
Okay.
All right, if I borrow money at 5% and I lend it to you at 4%, do I make money or do I lose money? And so what's the answer? It depends on the length of the time. So here's the question: depends on the length. If somebody's thinking that they need to ask, it depends on the length of the time of the different notes. Nope, they're exactly the same amount of time. Exactly, in my example that I'm going to give you, it's exactly 10 years. So I lend you money for 10 years, and I borrow the money for 10 years. Same thing. What do you think?
Well, another thing that I was thinking about was, if you have a JOB and you make a lot of money and you did lose money on this particular trade, you still would get a nice write-off.
Well, that's true, but that's not what we're talking about either. I'm talking about the straight out. Forget about all the the tricks and hoops and everything. There is one piece of information I'm not giving you yet. I'm not giving you yet, but
excluding.
But so far, what?
Excluding.
I'm going to give you the other piece of information in a little while. So Ed says make money, but of course you can't call in and tell me how you're going to make money on that. I can tell you how you're going to make money on it. So I'm going to give you a trick. I'm going to give you a clue here. I'm going to tell you that I could make money borrowing at 5% and lending it to a 4%. So I've answered the question. Now I'm going to see if anybody out there can figure out what the missing piece is or how and why.
You're charging points?
Nope, I'm not charging points. Straight up. I borrow $100,000 from the bank at 5% and I lend it to you at 4%. I will make money.
Well, I will leave it up to the audience to come up with the answer.
All right, let's see if we got.
I don't want to spoil the show.
I would bet we have some people here online right now watching who know the answer. If they want to call in, give us a call at 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. And if you're listening in your car and you're screaming at me going, there's no way, there's no way, there's no way, feel free to call me and tell me that there's no way, there's no way, there's no way, and then I'll tell you that there is a way. And it's really, really good because when I tell you what the outcome is, it'll amaze you. All right, so call in 855-939-1137. Do I have anybody on pins and needles or on the edge of their seat?
Why don't we go on with some of these topics?
Let's do it.
We are running a radio show here, are we not?
Yeah, well, this is part of the radio show.
Yeah,
the radio show is to help people understand money more.
I know. Let's move on to some topics, and maybe somebody will call with an answer.
All right, fine.
Okay.
I got a topic. Why are you so impatient?
So, earn your leisure by buying more real estate.
Earn your leisure by buying more real estate. How could that possibly be, Phil?
Well, when you buy a piece of real estate, you're by definition creating more work for yourself.
Yeah, don't you have to clean? Don't you have to fix the bathroom at 2:00 in the morning?
Yeah, that never happens.
Yeah, I know. I've always found that to be the funniest thing. The biggest objection to people not buying real estate.
One time in my entire career of owning real estate, did a guy call me in the middle of the night and say, "You need to come over here and fix this toilet."
Right, and your
I
answer
laughed
was
at him and
right.
hung up.
Exactly. All right,
And
right.
I ended up throwing him out of the house later.
Well, that probably not for that reason.
No, that was the reason. He just was.
He was a pain.
He was just one of those tenants,
Gotcha.
I'm not gonna have a guy like yelling at me and let him get away with that. The world is full of good people to rent to. You don't need to tolerate that from anybody.
Yeah, and just real quick, getting back to that though. First of all, it doesn't happen, and if it does happen, listen. What would happen if you owned your own house and you were living in your own house and 2:00 in the morning, you got up because you ate way too much for dinner and you clogged the toilet? What would you do? Would you call a plumber at 2:30 in the morning, or would you just let the water sit there and fester until 9:00 in the morning when you can call a plumber? Because that's what I'm going to tell you to do.
The only option I have is to call a plumber during regular business hours and
exactly.
get him to come out at some
Right.
point.
And if it's the only bathroom in the house, well, you're I can't say the word, but it's very funny to say it right now. S out of luck. It's kind of funny because it fits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could just go in your backyard and,
Right.
do it the way they did it 1,500 years ago.
Exactly. I love it. Perfect.
Right.
All right. So getting back to the question, more leisure.
Well, I mean, what I'm alluding to is that if you don't want to have a job, if you don't want to spend your life working in a cubicle, you have to do some kind of entrepreneurial endeavor. And one of the best ways that I know to do it is to buy real estate acquisitions that you can manage in your part-time or with the assistance of somebody else that you trust or an employee, and owning this real estate will generate income for you. I have one building right now that is paying me $6,000 a month.
It's paying you $6,000 a month.
Yes.
So that's after all expenses.
Yes.
But how could you possibly have a building making $6,000 a month after all expenses?
Actually, it's more than that, but I'm not counting certain things. So,
But most people don't even make $6,000 a month, and you're getting it for free.
well, yes, I am.
So how many possible hours do you
So-
work a week to put in?
Zero.
in that
I
business?
don't work at this particular building at all. But I have a deal with my business partner, my wife.
Right.
And my wife manages this building with 47 offices. It's called Executech Suites. It's in Huntington Valley. It's 67 Buck Road. If you're interested in looking for office space for a entrepreneurial endeavor of your own, I got a great place to put you.
So wait, I have a question for you. You're always concerned about calling me your business partner because you don't want anybody to think, you don't want anybody to think that you're not homophobic. But now, if your wife is your business partner, is she now your partner, or is
Well,
she your
she
business
is my
partner?
business partner by definition,
Okay,
as well as my life partner.
well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now I'm so confused.
You're just a business partner.
All right, I'm glad.
The business partner.
I'm glad because
So anyway, my wife pulls a salary out of this business,
Right.
which I'm not even counting. And at the end of the month, there's typically approximately $6,000 a month that comes home.
that's awesome.
Right. It's wonderful. It's
That's
wonderful.
what real estate does. All right, we
That's-
got Ed on the line who thinks he can answer the question. All right, what's the answer, Ed?
Continuing compound interest.
What the heck does that mean?
Well, if you borrow money,
Hey, I'm gonna use some really big words and make myself look good, but I'm not gonna answer the question. I'm sorry, I had to interrupt you. What's the answer to the question? Why does it work?
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
All right.
A whole life policy, cash value. You borrow the cash out, and you will continue to earn interest on the cash. while you
Okay.
lend the money out.
So what you're doing, and it's okay because you've come to our class and you know that we teach something called the money multiplier system, but I am taking it back to its basic roots. Forget about the fact that life insurance policy this happens to work with. Forget about all that.
Okay.
I just go to the bank and I take $100,000 out of the bank and I'm paying 5% interest on that money and I lend it to you at 4%. How do I make money?
I don't know.
All
I
right.
don't know
How
that.
about you invest the money in real estate?
No. This is real simple. Because everybody's trying to make this complicated. It's not. I go to the bank and I borrow $100,000 and I add 5% interest rate is the bank, the money that the money will lend me. The bank will lend me the money at 5%, and I then lend you $100,000 at 4%. Do I make money or do I lose money? I have a way that I will make money if I do it properly, and I'm going to give you the answer in a few minutes. Any thoughts on it, Ed, before we let you go?
No, I'm still thinking about it.
All right,
All right, let's move on to the next question in the meantime.
sure.
So, life is not meant to be spent in a cubicle. Do you work in a cubicle, Larry?
No, I work at several desks.
Okay.
I move from desk to desk. If you've ever been here, you actually know that I move from desk to desk. Sometimes I'm at a desk in the morning doing my radio shows. Sometimes a desk upstairs. Sometimes I'm at a desk behind the computers. Sometimes I'm in the desk doing the presentation rooms. But, I move from desk to desk.
Well, if there's anybody out there who works in a cubicle, you can give us a call. We'd like to hear how you feel about that, and maybe we can introduce you to the entrepreneurial world of real estate acquisition and stock option trading.
That's true. So if you're living in a cubicle,
No.
can you put a picture of the beach in front of you and pretend you're at the beach?
Sure, why not?
Okay. That's why they have those screensavers on your computer, right?
So, one thing that came up on Monday night, we have classes here on Thursday night at 7 o'clock, and you're invited to come on out to a class at investorschooling.com. Show up in person. Our address is on the website, investorschooling.com. You can come for free Thursday night and bring anybody you like. So, on Thursday nights, we have classes where we teach various different stock option investing strategies, and we also talk about real estate investing and financial literacy and all about making more money. But on Monday night, we had a very interesting topic. One of our students started to tell us a little bit about ways that he attributes a lot of his success to, and that is from he has a mantra, and he
I can't rescue you because I don't know where you're going with this.
you
I don't
you
remember.
weren't in the class Monday night.
I probably was, but I might have just not remembered what you were talking about. I'm sorry. I'm trying to rescue you. I just don't remember.
Bill was
I remember that. That's 6 days ago.
Bill was telling us how he
I don't know. Helps people? I don't know. I don't know, Phil.
okay.
Help me out here.
Well, in the meantime, I'll talk about what I added to the conversation.
Okay.
So I have a binder.
What's funny is you're telling me that I can't remember, but you brought up the topic and you can't remember.
Okay, well, I thought I might get a little help from my co-host. But apparently not. So one of the things that I do is I have like a cookbook stand on the corner of my desk. And I have this book with a daily calendar on it. And every day when I wake up or the day before, it depends on when I do it, I'll write down the things that I want to accomplish today. And if I don't get those things done during the day, I am now forced to rip out the page and rewrite whatever of the items I have not completed. And I can tell you that there are times when I'm ripping out the page and rewriting the item sometimes 4 or 5 times in a row until I actually get it finished. And this is the way that I like to force myself to accomplish all of the tasks that I deem important enough to make that book. And that is one of the ways that I get things done. Do
I like
you
it.
have a way you get things done?
Yeah, this is what I do. I think about all the things I have to do in my head. I don't write them down, so that way when I forget about them, I didn't know that I didn't do them, so it doesn't bother me anymore.
Okay.
But there have been times, and sometimes there's some important things, like I don't know, like remembering to be here in the morning.
Okay.
I might put that in my calendar.
Well, I got to interrupt you because what Bill was talking about was meditating.
Oh, meditating. That's right. Yes.
He was meditating, and when people said, "Well, when do you meditate?" and he goes, "I'm meditating right now,"
Right.
which I thought was really interesting because I've never
Yeah.
heard anybody say
Because
that.
he does some, and again, I don't remember what it was, but it was some ancient meditation. But I don't want to get into that because actually we should have him on here and tell us about it. But it was pretty interesting. Now I remember what you're talking about. It's a pretty interesting
Right.
conversation. But real quick, I want to go back to the question. So the question is, and I'm going to say how because I've already given you the answer. But the original question was, if I borrow money at 5% and I lend it to you at 4%, do I make money or lose money? I've already said that I can figure out a way to make money. I'm going to give you guys another clue, and I'm going to see if you can figure out if I'm right. So if I borrow money at 5% and I'm paying back principal and interest, but I lend it to you at 4%, interest only, now, does that change it, and how does it change it, and how does it work? So if I borrow money at 5% and I pay back principal and interest, and I lend it to you at 4%, and I pay back only and I have you pay back only interest, after 10 years, do I make money or do I lose money, and how much? Does anybody know? By the way, you can give me a call at 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. And then I'm curious to see what you guys think of this, because I'm going to get back to it in about 5 minutes. We're going to go to a commercial in about 5 minutes, and then after the commercial, I'm going to give you the answer, and I'm going to tell you some numbers I ran on this because it's pretty impressive.
All right, so let's keep talking about some of these topics.
All right.
So, do you have any evidence that mortgage guys are getting laid off?
I don't have evidence of getting laid off. I'm having evidence that they get worse and worse every year. But laid off, no, but not doing the business they were doing. Because remember, most of these mortgage guys are independent contractors.
Okay, well, I
So they
remember.
don't actually get laid off.
I remember we had a mortgage guy in the audience like 2 Thursday nights ago, and you directly asked him, "Are you getting as many deals as you always got?" And he
Right.
said no.
Yeah, and he said no. That's
Right.
that's what's happening.
Is
Absolutely.
there? You can look up statistics of real estate sales on the MLS. I know they provide a lot of information on there. I don't generally look it up, but I think I want to start looking it up because I'm trying to get a feel for what's coming.
So yeah, and I know where you're going with that too. And it makes a lot of sense. You know, it's going to be bad. It's not going to. We still got about a year and a half. By the way, this year, this spring, and I've said it over and over again. I've been saying it for 5 years. This spring will be the last good year. Last year was the last best year. What I mean by that is the prices went up the most last year. They're going to go up a little bit this year, and then that's it. You're done. It's not going to happen. So somebody's answering. They're saying you make money on the appreciation of the asset. What asset? I borrowed $100,000 from the bank at 5%. There's no asset involved. I give you all the information. Here's the information. One more time. I borrowed $100,000 from the bank at 5%. I'm going to pay back principal and interest. I'm going to lend it to you at 4%, and you're going to pay me interest only. After 10 years, if it's a 10-year loan, do I make money or do I lose money? All right, so I'm gonna give you that answer in a little while. So whoever answered that, nope, that's not the answer. There's nothing else missing. I've taken nothing else out of this. One more time, if I borrow $100,000 at 5% from the bank, and I lend it to you at 4%, I pay in principal and interest. You pay interest only to me. Do I make money or lose money, and how much? If you even know how much do I make, and how crazy are the numbers when I'm done with this?
So if I go on the MLS and I look up statistics about house sales, they essentially will mimic what mortgage sales are.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean,
it'll
it's
be
going
the
to be
same.
pretty close, right? Yeah.
It'll be the same.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah.
I think that maybe we could incorporate that into the show. It'll be interesting to see.
We are definitely going to see houses. We are definitely going to see houses go down in value in the next few
Yeah,
years.
it's something we should pay attention to. Just
Absolutely.
for our own education, it makes a lot of sense to do that.
But I have to say, as real estate investors, You and I can't wait for that to happen. But if you're not a real estate investor, learn how to buy the houses now, because when you learn how to buy the houses now, it's gonna blow your mind how you're gonna be the only one out there buying houses. I mean, I was having a Facebook argument with somebody the other day where I told him I bought a house that was worth 140. I paid 170,000 for it, and he couldn't say, "Why would you do that?" And when I answered, I said, because it only cost me $700 out of my pocket to do it, and I make a cash flow of about $500 a month. That's why. Now, it doesn't matter what you paid for the asset. What mattered to me was that I have a cash flow, and then in the end, the person paying the mortgage, because I bought it subject to, for you guys who know what that is, I basically took over the mortgage payment. But if in the end I was making cash flow, and in the end I own the property, and on top of that, the tenant is the one paying the loan back, not me.
Okay, so the point to all this is we believe that the market is going to decline. These sales are going to stop, and we're going to see some real changes in the future,
Absolutely.
which is going to create amazing opportunities.
And if you guys remember 2008, it will be 2025 will be 2008. That's my prediction. So keep that in mind and keep working, because you're gonna need your job if you don't know how to make money on this.
Want to go to a commercial?
Yeah, let's take a commercial. And when we come back, I'm going to answer the question. So if you guys want to call in before I answer the question, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. And the question again is, if I borrow $100,000 at 5% and I pay it back principal and interest, and I lend it to you at 4% interest only, do I make money or lose money? I've told you that I do make money. How much and why? We'll see you guys in about a minute.
Hi, I'm Phil Falcone from InvestorSchooling.com. I'm inviting you to a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 p.m. I will teach you how to buy ugly houses and make them beautiful. As a bonus, we will also teach you stock option investing. 7 p.m. this Thursday night, 215-876-3002, InvestorSchooling.com.
Hey everybody, it's Larry Sinus from InvestorSchooling.com. You heard my partner Phil Falcone tell you why you should be there this Thursday night to learn about real estate investing and learn about stock options trading. We're telling you right now, you will make more money than you've ever made in your entire life if you learn these two skills. This Thursday night at 7 o'clock, go to InvestorSchooling.com. Pull over right now, take out your phone and go to InvestorSchooling.com. RSVP right now, InvestorSchooling.com. See you Thursday. This is Larry Steinitz from Investor Schooling. You've been hearing our ads for 4 years now, and you still haven't attended a complimentary class. Go to Investor Schooling right now. Sign up for this Thursday night. If you have questions, you can call us at 215-876-3002, 215-876-3002. Come this Thursday, complimentary class, learn real estate, learn stock option investing, and learn everything you've ever wanted to know about money. 215-876-3002, InvestorSchooling.com. This is Larry Sinus from Investor Schooling, and you are invited to a special presentation on April 24th. That's right, we're having an all-day presentation with freedom and finances. We're going to have some special guests that are going to talk to you about how to be free with money and how to be free with your life. Make sure you go to the number4mmw.com. That's number4mmw.com. Sign up for tickets right now. You are going to be amazed at this amazing event. 4mmw.com. This is Larry Sinus, Investor Schooling. This is Larry Steinitz from Investor Schooling. Are you tired of being broke? If you're tired of being broke, go to InvestorSchooling.com, sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday, and learn how not to be broke. That's right, go to InvestorSchooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday. And if you have any questions, you can call us at 215-876-3002, 215-876-3002. Go to InvestorSchooling.com, sign up for this Thursday, and learn how not to be broke. InvestorSchooling.com. Right, Larry Steinhaus, and welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. I'm here with Phil Falcone, my business partner. I'm getting better at it, though, saying business partner. Anyway, I'm here with Phil Falcone, and we are talking about money. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about stock options. We're talking about how to make more money, and we're about to answer this question. If I borrow money at 5%, so if I borrow $100,000 at 5%, and I pay principal and interest, and I lend it to you at 4% interest only, do I make money or lose money? And I'm going to give you just a minute or two if anybody wants to call in and with how that works. 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. I'm curious to see if anybody's actually done the math on this, because the math is pretty cool. 855-939-1137. If I borrow $100,000 at 5% interest, I pay back principal and interest, and I lend it to you at 4% interest only. Do I make money or lose money? All right. Anybody got an idea? Real quick, we'll go to one more topic, and then I'll answer the question.
Oh, we're going to go to one more topic.
Oh, you want me to answer the question now? I can do that.
No, it's okay.
What's up to you? You know, you are the business partner.
What can you learn from attending a class at Investor Schooling?
You can learn that Phil and I have a lot of fun arguing with each other.
Okay, you're not going to answer the question, so let's go to the let's
We'll also answer the question too.
answer the big question.
We'll answer the big question. All right.
Let's stop torturing people.
So here's the deal. So let's talk about this for a second, right? So if I was to take $100,000 and I borrow it from the bank at 5% interest and I pay principal and interest, my payment will be $727.68. Right? Now, if I'm getting money from you, interest only, your payment to me is $333 because it's $4,000 divided by 12 because we said it was 4%. Am I ahead or behind?
According to those numbers, you're behind.
Behind a lot, right?
Yeah.
So it gets really ugly in the beginning. But now check this out. If I continue on, my total interest over the 10 years is $27,279. That's what I paid. I paid $27,279. Now, if I'm collecting $4,000 or 4% interest from you a year over 10 years, how much interest did I collect from you? Come on. It's simple math.
$40,000.
$40,000, right? So I am now plus $12,721. But there's another piece to this. So I'm actually ahead $12,721. That's just the beginning. What about the $100,000 I lent you? At the end of this $100,000, right? At the end
Where
of this,
does that question say $100,000?
well, I added it in the example. I added. It doesn't matter how much you use. I just used $100,000, and I said 10 years. So think about this, right? I borrowed $100,000 from the bank, right? Mm-hmm. And I lent it to you at 4%. I paid $727.68 every month. You paid me to offset that. You paid me $333 every month. I'm ahead interest, just the interest. I'm ahead $12,721 in just interest. But you still owe me $100,000 at the end of the 10 years. I paid back my loan completely, and at the end of the 10 years, you're going to give me $100,000 on top of the $12,721 I've already made. That's a hell of a return.
You should become a lender.
Well, absolutely, but I'm just saying. So would you typically borrow money at 5% and lend it at 4%?
No.
No, of course not, right? But this is the power of borrowing money and lending money, and the power of interest, and how to use your interest and how to lend it out at interest only and make money. I mean, you do that at 5%, which you would think would be even. It's not. It's even going to be better. You're going to make even more money. And it's a very powerful tool, is to actually borrow money from anywhere and lend it to someone else. Now, typically you lend that money at a higher rate, but you make so much more money than the difference in the rate that people don't understand. So if you borrow money at 3% and lend it to somebody at 5%, you're not making 2% on your money. You're making so much more, and the numbers depend on how long you lend it for, but you make so much more. That's called arbitrage.
Okay, so now that you've talked about this question for about 25 minutes,
No, 36 minutes exactly.
why don't we talk about something else?
Okay.
What's your favorite investment?
My favorite investment is absolutely real estate.
Yeah, be more specific.
Okay, well, like my favorite type of real estate to invest in, or
Tell me what you like to invest in.
well, so I really like townhouses and condos. Now, a lot of people don't like townhouses and condos because they say, "Oh, well, what about the maintenance fees and the HOA? Who cares?" You know, to me, I like townhouses and condos because the people who typically rent townhouses and condos are typically middle class people who, and you know, if you want to category middle class, to lower middle class and upper middle class. They're typically lower middle class people who go to work every day. They have no intention of buying a house. They just want to live somewhere. They want to live quietly. They want to live in a nice neighborhood, and they don't want to think about ever buying a house, and they're my tenants forever. Those are my favorite. Plus, I don't have to worry about maintenance on the building. I don't have to worry about the roof. I don't have to worry about the siding. I don't have to worry about the grass cutting. I don't have to worry about anything. So I rent these out, and people stay there. I've got tenants that, I don't know, they stay there for 10 years, 12 years, and they're still there. So that's why I really like the townhouses and condos. What's your favorite kind of investment?
Clearly, I just like buying houses that make sense.
Well, yeah. So the
Right.
the math house always works. Sure.
Right.
I mean, I have a lot of single family houses. I have multifamily houses too. But my favorite ones are condos and townhouses. They give me the
Well, I thought
least
you
amount
a-
of trouble.
I thought you asked me a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I won't interrupt again.
So at one point, I had decided I was going to do nothing but office buildings.
Right.
But then the crash of 2008 made me rethink that philosophy.
Good thing you did.
Yeah.
You'd be hurting now.
Well, had I had gone through with the building I was trying to buy in 2007, yeah, I'd have been in some big trouble
Yeah.
because there was a lot of money involved in that.
Yeah.
But it would have been 3 times the size of Executech.
So what if I told you now is the time to buy commercial? Right now.
I don't think I have the same faith today that
Okay.
I used to have in the office business.
That's why it's the time.
Well,
Because when people get fearful, it's time to get greedy. And you're not the only one who's fearful.
well, that's not exactly something I would base my decision on. What I
You're in the stock
like
market all the time.
what I like today is I like mobile home parks.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Yes, I like those. I like the fact that you can buy something that's a real piece of junk, and you can get rid of the homes and completely change it to be something completely different if you choose to do so. I'm
And
not
they
s-
typically cash flow well.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I would do that in every home, in every mobile home park, but if I found one that had good road exposure, where making some really cool houses that could actually be seen from a major road, that would make me want to do it. And I imagine I'm going to find that. I have found that particular piece of property and tried to buy it very aggressively, but they decided to keep it.
Yeah, and there's a lot. It seems like the mobile home park business is really moving up, and also the apartment business is moving up, and the prices are getting really hot and heavy, and that's fine.
Well, maybe one day they'll fall again.
They will. They will. Like I said, in about a year and a half, you're going to see it. You're going to see, like I said, this will be the last good year. Next year will be a little bit of nervousness, and you'll see prices dropping, but not considerably. The year after that, it's going to be, you will definitely notice it'll become a buyer's market again, and the sellers will start to realize it's a buyer's market again. Next year, they won't. Next year, it'll be confusion. And they're going to have their houses up. The sellers are going to have their houses up for 6 months, and they go, well, I don't understand. How come a year ago people put their houses up and they're sold in a week? It's not going to happen anymore. Interest rates are going to rise, house prices are going to slow down, and people are going to be making less money because of inflation.
Okay.
Okay, what? Where do you want to go now? You got the list. Do it. You made me answer the question early. Now I got nothing to talk about.
Well, you took one question and talked about it for half an hour.
And you know what's funny? We lost half our audience. I've noticed that there are half the people online now than there were before.
Next time, make a question that's easier.
All right. Does Phil dye his hair or not? So if you want to call in 855-939-1137, and you can see if Phil dyes his hair or not. Mike,
Why would anyone
Mike,
dye
put his
the-
hair on. Put his hair on the camera so everybody can see whether Phil dyes his hair or not.
Why would anyone dye their hair gray?
I don't know. but,
The
you
only
know.
reason that I allowed it to happen was so that the girls would stop bothering.
Oh, is that what it's all about? You did
Yeah.
it so the girls would stop bothering you.
Yeah. When I had, beautiful flowing brown hair, girls were just bothering me all the time, and
I get it now. Okay.
I needed to do something to stop that.
Now I get it. Mike's having trouble with the camera. I'm watching it. he's got. All right. Anyway.
He's got the hair. There you go.
Look at that hair. Does he dye that hair, or is that natural? All right, we've certainly digressed on this show. What's going on? We do this show every week. We got nothing to talk about. Why don't we talk about the war in the stock market?
Okay.
So the war in the stock market is really bad.
Well, certainly all.
There's I don't know if you guys know about this, but there's this big country called Russia, and then there's a little country called Ukraine.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, no, did you hear the Kamala Harris description of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I can't remember exactly which goes. And the big country decided to invade the little country, and that's bad. I think that's almost word for word what you said to describe what's happening over there. And this is our vice president.
God help us.
We are in deep trouble if that's what you said. By the way, if you want to talk about that too, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. We'd talk to you about anything. But so the war is affecting the stock market, obviously. It's creating some turmoil. I am knee deep in travel stocks, and that's a problem for me at the moment because everyone's reacting to the price of oil and the price of the fuel for these travels, for the travel stocks, like how much the fuel is going to be for airplanes and cruises. So that's going to cause these people to make less money, but it's not. In the end, it's actually going to cause them to make money because they're just going to raise their price anyway. Everything okay?
Yeah, I was just reading the comments online.
Oh.
Barbara said at least Phil has hair.
Thanks, Barbara. I totally appreciate it. I'm going to remember you.
Barbara, don't you think he would look better if he shaved his head?
Why don't you call in, Barbara?
I think that
tell us.
this could be an event next week on the show. We could shave Larry's
probably
head.
not.
Even your wife said you would look better.
No, she actually doesn't want me to shave my hair. Linda, if you're watching, let us know if you want me to shave my hair.
She said it like 3-4 weeks ago when I suggested it on the air.
She said just the opposite. She said she didn't even like the fact that I grew a beard.
Okay.
855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. Getting back to the war and how it's going to affect the stock market. Obviously, oil prices are going up. Treasury bond actually went down, and that's kind of surprising because we all know the interest rates are going to start to go up soon, and that's what we said why the housing market's going to go down too. And then the other thing is just the uncertainty. The other day we had the fear that the Russians bombed the nuclear reactor, and it turned out to be that they didn't bomb it. A fire started in a back warehouse building.
Well, I thought it was out of commission for the last 40 years anyway.
No, you're talking about Chernobyl. This is a different nuclear reactor. This is an active nuclear reactor. In fact, they're calling the news reports are saying it's the largest nuclear reactor in Europe.
Hmm.
It's the largest nuclear reactor in Europe. It has 6 stations, and 2 are offline, 4 are online, and it was just a fire in a back warehouse that had been reported, and the Russians now control that nuclear reactor.
That's not good.
Well, it's good and bad. I mean, here's where it's good. It's good that they're not going to bomb it if they're controlling it. It's bad that they're probably. If I was the Russians, I'd turn it off, and then turn off all the power to Ukraine, which is bad for Ukraine, of course. But at the same time, it's good because at least they're not bombing it anymore, and the fear of it exploding and causing a major radiation effect is limited now. Unless, of course, Ukraine tries to take it back. I don't know. This war is frightening in some ways and predictable in others.
World War I started in essentially a weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah, you should study it.
So I know you're a big study of this. So what do you think? What do you think this is going, and what do you think it's going to happen?
I've heard a lot of wacky things. Like I've heard that Putin has cancer.
Really?
Yes.
That's kind of a weird thing, too.
I heard that he has cancer and he's doomed. And I don't know how to figure that into this whole equation, but it's an interesting fact.
Mm-hmm.
But as a student of history and studying wars, because I love history, and wars tend to be the major events that happen in humans' lives, so you tend to study those things. And I know more than a man should really know about World War I, World War II, the Civil War. God, I know so much about these wars. But World War I really started in a weekend when somebody tried to assassinate the Kaiser. And before you know it, the whole world was at war in really just a few days, not even a full week.
Mm-hmm.
They were declaring war against one another. And it's just a scary thing because humans have that reactionary, quick decision that they make over something like, if somebody assassinated Biden, for example, I don't think anybody here would really be upset.
Well, I'm wondering if anybody would notice.
Well, the big problem would be that the
Kamala.
next
Yeah, right.
person is even has less capacity than the last one.
There's this big country called Russia and this little country called Ukraine, and the big country decided to invade the little country, and that's bad. I still can't get over that. That was the conversation she had. All right, so getting back, so yeah, obviously it's affecting the stock market. There's a lot of uncertainty, and it's going to happen. It's going to continue. It's getting me a little bit nervous. I actually saw this morning that there was a temporary ceasefire in Ukraine, and I was kind of hoping that was a real temporary ceasefire, not what later was reported as a 5-hour ceasefire.
Yeah.
Just to let the people out so they could blow up the buildings. I mean, hey, listen, we're going to blow up your building in about an hour, so get out.
Why don't we talk a little bit about seller financing?
All right, let's do that.
Would you like to explain a seller finance deal?
Yeah, sure. I got a great seller finance deal for you. So, in fact, if you've ever been to Investor Schooling, you come to our office, and we're at 108 Corporate Drive East in Langhorne. And if you come to our office, you'll actually come into the office, and you'll see a building that I bought with seller financing. And this was interesting because the seller at the time was having trouble selling it, and he had it listed for a certain price, and I offered him a little bit less, and he was like, yeah, I don't know. And then all of a sudden I said, hey, what are you doing with the money? And he goes, well, I'm going to annuitize it. He's an older gentleman. He wanted to put it into an annuity. He owed nothing on the building. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, what if I gave you $1,000 a month for the building instead of you annuitizing it somewhere else? And that's exactly what he did. So I actually ended up buying the building, and that's how Investor Schooling actually started. I bought the building for $1,000 a month. And then basically I was sitting in the building. I actually thought I could rent this building for $3,800. And at the time, that made sense. But really quickly, commercial market dropped. And I had trouble renting a building. We were, I had it empty for about a year. And then finally, Phil and I had a whole conversation about opening Investor Schooling. There's a couple of other pieces involved in there. We had this whole conversation about opening Investor Schooling. And I said, hey, I got the perfect place to put it. I got this building that's empty. Let's put it in there. So we renovated the building. We put it in there, and it turned out to be a beautiful, beautiful play.
So essentially what you did you have to put any money down?
He asked me for $35,000 up front, and that was fine.
Okay, so you gave him 35 grand up front,
right?
And you pay him $1,000 a month until you own the building.
Correct.
And when would the building be
So that
owned?
would have been, he wanted a 10-year loan. He wanted a balloon payment at the end. So there was a small balloon payment at the end, but it was fine. We've since refinanced that building, so it's a little bit different now. But the reality was it would have been 10 years of
Did you pull money out of this building to buy the other building?
Yeah, something like that. We pulled money out of one to buy the other, because we now have two buildings. If you ever come to Investor Schooling, remind us, and we'll give you a tour of our studio that we're sitting in right now, and also our offices, which is in the same building as the studio. That's how we built this beautiful studio, is because we were able to refinance the building.
This is a great studio. We have a studio in our basement.
Yeah, and it's also a really nice bomb shelter. So if it ever comes this way,
if Putin decides to blow up Langhorne, we'll be okay.
Yeah, and in WPHT, they're in a high-rise building. They're on the 4th floor, but they're in a high-rise building. We're in the basement, so we'll be able to continue transmitting, and no other show on PHT will be able to transmit.
Right, and if the world were to go into World War III, we could actually transmit nonstop from this location.
Yeah, the only problem is we don't have a transmitter.
Well,
we have to use PHT's transmitter.
We'll get our new
engineer
in there, Mike Keeper, to look into it.
Hey, Mike, can you get us a transmitter? What do you think? Oh, he's shaking his head. Maybe he doesn't know. We might need a really big antenna now.
We might.
Where would we put the antenna? I don't think the association of this condo complex will allow us to put an antenna in.
Well, maybe we could just put it up in a tree or something.
Well, and it's also possible that, if we have World War III and there's a nuclear war, that the association manager, won't be around and he really won't come by and complain.
He might stop complaining after that point.
Yeah, he complains about a lot of things, by the way. Yeah.
I've heard that about him.
Yeah, he does.
I sit on a board of a development, but we don't really argue about much. There's only 3 guys, and one of them is almost always in agreement with me, so it's pretty simple.
Yeah, that makes it easy. that whole complex it makes it easy because there's only 6, right? There's only 6 people on the board.
No,
six,
there's
owners?
11 units.
Oh, 11 units,
but
okay.
3 people on the board.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Three.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so we have, I don't know, it's quite a few units, 40, 50 units in this complex.
Yeah, it's a much bigger place.
Yeah, and there's only 4 people who show up. 3 are on the board, and I show up,
Right.
and that's it.
Well, it's funny you say that because in all the years I've owned it, I bought the building in 2006. In all the years I've owned it, I've been on the board since day one, and only one person has shown up to any one
Yeah,
meeting.
it's amazing, right? Yeah, because nobody cares. They just figure
Yeah.
whatever you guys decide, you decide. I remember when, if you came to this building before, it used to be stucco, and if you guys know the story with stucco is terrible for houses. It's a terrible thing to be built in this area, and they wanted to assess all the owners $310 a month for 10 years to replace it with siding, with not aluminum siding, with plastic siding.
Vinyl
siding, thank you. And they did that, and of course now everybody was up in arms, like, oh, another $300 a month. Well, and so they all showed up at a board meeting to complain about it when the board had already decided they're doing it. They were just informing them. All right, anyway, let's go to some stocks because it's that time, right? What do you think?
I think it's time for the stock option sultan.
I think so too. I just got to find the sound effect because I can't find my sound effect button. All right, there it is. Oh, yeah. It sounds like this.
Stock option sorting. Stock option sultan.
All right, I am the Stock Option Sultan. If you come this Thursday, you get to meet me. Go to investorschooling.com. By the way, if you've seen the billboard of the Stock Option Sultan on 95, let me know because I think it's hysterical. So take a look at that, Stock Option Sultan. All right, American Airlines is now down to $14.59. I want to cry. I cannot believe it's down to $14.59. This is a screaming buy except for one problem. It hit a 52-week low. And the 52-week lows always scare me because the stocks become unpredictable. Now, sometimes you can explain the 52-week low. It's not because the company's doing bad. They're not. They're doing great. As a matter of fact, we've got Gestapo Joe dropping the mask mandate in 15 days, and I'll be able to fly again. I'm so excited because I won't get on an airplane with a mask, especially a 5-hour trip if I want to go to California. So that, I personally think that's going to make bookings go up. The problem, of course, we talked about this before, is the fuel problem. The fuel is getting expensive, and because the fuel is getting expensive, people think these companies are going to lose money, and they're going to lose money temporarily, but it's going to be real quick because not only will fuel prices come back or lower again quickly, but they're just going to raise the price of tickets. It's not going to be like it's not going to be like they're going to have to pay it. It's going to be absorbed in the price of tickets, and in fact, the price of tickets is not going to go down when fuel prices go down. So they'll raise the price of tickets. Let's say they raise the price of tickets 20%. The price of tickets are going to stay at that rate, and they're actually going to make money. So it's actually a good play. It might not be. The problem is we're in stock options, and stock options are timed. So hopefully I'll be able to get a return on that in time. But we will see. Meta is another great play, and we're seeing some serious support at 200. And I like it. So Meta is Facebook, of course, and we're seeing some serious support at 200. It's right at 200. It keeps sitting there and bouncing back up, getting there, bouncing back up. I personally believe that this stock should not have been beaten down the way it was. I think it was a combination of fear and kind of retaliation against Zuckerberg for it, and that's why that stock got so beaten up. But it'll definitely come back because the earnings are going to be incredible on it, so it's going to be a great play. What else do you want to hear? Apple is another good one. I also think that's also a great play. It's at 162. I'm waiting for it to hit below 160, 158, 155, and I think it's a great play. I think it's a great play as it is. One of my favorite plays right now is still Google. So Google is going to be doing a reverse split, a split, not a reverse split, split, a 20-to-1 split. And why this is such a great stock, at 2,600 right now, if you were to buy 5 shares of it, not 5 contracts, 5 shares of it, you will then own 100 shares of it come July when they split. And that makes it a great covered call play. So if you guys don't know how to do covered calls, the best thing for you to do is come to Investor Schooling this Thursday and learn covered calls. Covered calls are the safest way to make money in the stock market. If you are holding stocks right now and you're just holding them for no other reason than you're holding them, I could tell you how to rent those stocks, the analogy of renting those stocks and making money on them every week after week after week and not having to lose the stock. You keep the stock in most cases, and you're going to make money on it every week after week after week. All right, Phil, we got about 1 minute. Real quick, there anything you want me to go over in 15 seconds?
No, you went over the stocks that the options that I'm interested in.
All right, cool.
Okay, so thanks to our producer Henry Mache and Mike Keeper. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but
Which one?
I like Keeper better.
Yeah, Keeper?
Keep better than Kuiper.
Yeah, Kuiper.
Right. So don't
He
forget.
doesn't even know how to say his own name.
Don't forget to visit investorschooling.com for your free class this Thursday night at 7 p.m. on real estate investing and stock option trading. That's investorschooling.com. And if you behave yourself, we might invite you to another complimentary class. If you have any questions for us during the week, you can call us at 855-939-1137. Thursday night, 7 o'clock at Investor Schooling in Langhorne. Just go to investorschooling.com to get the address. And with that, Larry, you want to say goodbye?
We are out of here. Goodbye.
This program is a paid commercial announcement and in no way represents the views of WPA.